Hey folks, welcome back to FreepCast. My name is Robb Murray. I'm your host, and today we have a very special episode. The big man Joe Spear is gone, so we thought we'd take the time to welcome our newest reporter, the newest voice in the Free Press newsroom. We have Leah Call here today. Say hello, Leah.
Hi guys, how's it going?
And you come to us from is it Utah State University?
I do, yep. I'm up here in Mankato, newly from Utah State University in Logan, Utah. Just graduated, and I'm here in Mankato to stay.
What year did you graduate?
I graduated December of 2024, hung out in Utah for a couple months, figured out where I wanted to go next, and Mankato was the spot.
So where were you working before you came here?
I was working for St. George News. It's the local newspaper for southern Utah. Had a great time there, really enjoyed it, and it got too hot for me. It was 100 degrees in February. And I had to get out of there. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, it'll get to be that temperature here, but not until mid July.
When it's supposed to.
Exactly. So what do you think so far of Mankato?
I'm loving it. I've been here since Thursday, so it's very new, very green. I love all the trees, and the coffee is great. And so far, everyone has been super welcoming. So.
Well, that'll change quick, so don't worry about
I look
that.
forward to it.
So you worked for your school newspaper, from what I hear?
I did. I was a managing editor of the Utah Statesman at Utah State University, so go check it out if you're interested in Northern Utah news.
utahstatesman.edu or something?
That'd be utahstatesman.com.
.com, okay. Mm-hmm. We'll check that out. What made you decide you wanted to be a journalist in this day and age?
In this day and age,
when we're all the enemy of the people, and
yeah, that's right.
Credibility for journalists is at an all-time low.
I think part of it was initially I just wanted to tell people stories. I've always been really, really interested in what's going on around me and how to let other people know what's going on around them and make them more informed. I don't think I was as aware at 17 years old when I first got into the journalism world what that would look like as far as the climate today for media. But I'm really glad to be here and flipping that script hopefully a little bit and in the people's mind as what we do.
So when you were getting into this line of work, was there ever a particular story that you wrote where you came out of that thinking, okay, yes, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, probably in my freshman year of college. I was brand new to Utah. I was brand new to the university, and I was really interested in getting involved in local media there. And I got to write a story on randomly a local band that was playing. And I've always been really into local music scenes and local art scenes. And that was one that kind of kickstarted that love for me of getting in there and seeing what they feel and what they're doing behind the scenes and getting to talk through some of their processes as a band and those sorts of things. And then more recently, I got to work on a collaborative in Utah, the Utah College Media Collaborative, about gun safety and policies on college campuses statewide. So that was one that got more into state policy and some of those bigger picture topics, and that was super eye-opening for me as well.
Do you have, is there a journalist or somebody in the media who has inspired you or you respect?
So many. Recently, now I'm not an opinion columnist, but I've been loving Ezra Klein, New York Times. Oh, yeah. He's great. I listen to his podcast often when I'm driving around and just doing my mundane Saturday things. But I think recently he's been one that has been quite an example for me.
Smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're, I imagine at one point you were scanning the, job ads and trying to find a place for your next step. What made you decide that this might be a good step for you?
Oh boy. I think I was excited to just get out there and get started, and I'd heard such great things about Minnesota, though I don't know many people who are from here, I'll be honest. But just generally, I was really excited to find somewhere to set up some roots, and everything I'd seen pointed to Mankato being the answer to that.
I was curious in our staff meeting yesterday when somebody mentioned that Mankato is the site of the largest mass execution in U.S. history. What were your thoughts when you heard that?
I had not known that, but our coworker actually gave me a book today, so I'm excited to open that up and get to know more of the history around here. So
what are you covering for the Free Press? Do you have a beat assigned to you?
Right now, it's going to be a little bit of everything. I think I'm going to have my hands in a lot of different pockets, but generally it'll be cops and courts for a while, North Mankato City Council, agriculture, business. So I'll be around.
How much do you know about North Mankato versus Mankato?
Very little. I know that they're in two separate counties, which surprised me.
That they are.
And that the downtown area is quite lovely from what I've seen. But I was looking through the city council website and the city websites for both, and I'm excited to get to know more about the community and the needs of that community.
So I think I saw somewhere I think this was you. Do you consider yourself a storyteller, telling people stories?
I do, yes. I love feature writing is one of my favorite things. I love just sitting down with someone and chatting with them and getting to know what they're all about.
And I guess you'd be hoping to do a lot of those stories. You're gonna get a lot of those stories in the Cops and Courts beat. Yeah,
I'm looking forward. I've heard our coworker Holly was just telling me that there's so much behind those stories that people don't know, and that it's been really eye-opening for her to get to be able to do that. So
I covered that beat for a number of years, and I think maybe the most fun I've ever had as a journalist is covering the cops beat, because that's the one where they tell you, okay, there's been you get a call at 6 a.m. There's been a murder in Springfield, and that's an hour away, and I used to love to get that call to go cover a murder, because especially way out in the outskirts, because you're by yourself, you have no one to help you, you have to figure it out by yourself. So it can be fun. It's very challenging. Sometimes it can be boring, but it's kind of what you make of it. So
yeah, I'm excited to push that envelope a little bit.
Did you do any kind of public safety reporting before?
We down in St. George, there was a significant amount of car crashes, and I don't know what it is about that community, but they are not very great at driving.
Just a bunch of bad drivers?
Just a bunch of bad drivers. And if anyone sees this from St. George, I apologize, but you're all just so bad at driving.
You might get some folks who hear this and say, you know what, the same shit happens here.
Yeah, I bet in the winter that some of those collisions are not great. But there was that aspect of public safety reporting. I ran out to a lot of different of those quite often, at least twice a day sometimes.
We had, in this town, never had a roundabout. And then we suddenly got them. And because people were so afraid of roundabouts, we had roundabout school.
Oh, yeah.
We literally had roundabout school where they would set up a fake roundabout and let people drive golf carts so they would know how to handle a roundabout when they came here. And now whenever there's a construction project, we throw about 3 roundabouts in there. So
yeah, I'm noticing there's quite a few.
Roundabout capital of Minnesota at this point.
Yeah, I'm a fan of a 4-way stop personally, but I've got
a lot of our readers are too. Get the 4-way stops here and get the stoplights back. They don't want.
That's right.
Yeah. So I got a weird question for you. If we had a newsroom potluck, what would you bring?
I am a notoriously terrible cook, so something easy.
So you're bringing the cups?
Yeah, I'm bringing the cups
or
and
a bag of chips from Hy-Vee.
The plastic utensils. The one thing that I can confidently say I'm pretty good at making is pasta salad, which I think is a potluck staple to some. So that's probably what I would bring. And then also utensils and cups as well.
What is the weirdest story you ever covered?
Ooh. What is the weirdest story I've ever covered? One that I remember for some reason in my mind that just comes to me sometimes is we had a mountain lion on campus once at Utah State. And chaos ensued, no doubt, after that. So that was an interesting one to chase around, campus police, the local police, and also make sure I wasn't going to get eaten by a mountain lion while we tried to write the story.
So how that must be a pretty rural area then if you got mountain lions showing up on campus.
It kind of is. It's reminds me honestly a little bit of Mankato after being here for about a week. It's a college town. It's a little bit tucked away, but it's a little unique in that it's right in front of this valley of mountains. So yeah, there's some pretty significant wildlife through there.
Is Utah where all the Mormons are?
Yes.
Tell me about your Mormon experience.
There are a significant amount of Mormons there. I actually have family who are practicing members of the LDS church, and lots of my school mates and classmates were members of the church. Yeah, it's a pretty stark contrast to see the religious domination.
Are you a member?
I am not. No.
I should have asked that first. I'm sure.
No, you're good. I am not, but yeah, it was a very interesting aspect of being a student there, and then also just being a resident of the state for sure.
I think it's the only state in the country where there's this sort of an outlier religion kind of dominates what most of us know about Utah. Yeah,
it does seem to be the determining fact about that state for many people. And when I moved there, it was all I knew about it, other than my family being there, and I was sort of familiar with the idea of Utah. But once I got there, I realized that there was so much more to it as well. The nature and the communities and the neighborhoods there are amazing. But usually you can't get out of a conversation without talking about the church somehow.
Well, as has happened today.
Yeah, that's right.
So you said Utah State, correct?
Yes.
Which is the one that had the really good football team this year? Was it Utah or Utah State?
I've never been a football follower. I know we've had a good team in the past, but I honestly couldn't tell you either way.
All right. So before you went to school, you are a native of Alaska.
I am. I grew up in Ketchikan, Alaska.
Tell me about that.
I don't think I realized it was as unique as it was until I moved out of Alaska. But I lived in a little island in southeast Alaska, and really small fishing community. Tourism is big in the summer, so it gets pretty big there. But yeah, it was just lots of rainy days and getting out in the sun when you could.
So growing up like that, are you like a big outdoors person? Do you like to go fishing?
Yes, I love hiking. I love camping. I love fishing. I love it all. And as long as I'm out, I'm not generally enjoying what I'm doing outside.
So as you were looking for a place to move on in your career, were you looking for a place that you could do some of that stuff?
Yeah, when I was researching Minnesota, one of the factors about it that was exciting to me was the bike trails that seem to be pretty notorious down here, and the state parks and the trees, really. I just love being surrounded by trees. So,
we got some trees here.
Yeah, quite a few I've noticed.
Yeah. Where's Ketchikan? I mean, I know that you said southeast.
Southeast, yeah. So I guess something that locals do is if this is the state of Alaska, I'm living like right there. Or I grew up like right there, and then Anchorage and Juneau are up in this area. I don't know if that's helpful at all.
Well, it's not helpful to the listeners. To the
that's
viewers,
a good point.
The viewers,
I guess you guys are.
For the listeners, she's holding up her hand, thumb down, index finger out, and pointing to the bottom of the thumb.
Yeah, bottom of the thumb.
Michiganders.
I forget that sometimes people aren't actually watching us.
Michiganders do that too. They call it the mitten. Yeah.
The mitten. Yeah, that's nice.
So if people only read, if they hear your name and they want to look into your background, creep on you a little bit, what is the one story you hope they read that you read, that you've written before?
Let me think about this. Before I moved to Minnesota, I was an intern at a magazine in Salt Lake City called Slug Mag, which is Salt Lake Underground magazine. And they are exclusively a magazine for the underground communities of Salt Lake. We were talking about the religious and cultural domination of that area. So it's a really important point of coverage that gets missed often in the more mainstream media in that area. So I got to intern for them for a summer, and I got to write about some local sports teams there, some local music, band, festivals, things of that nature. So really, I just encourage anyone to go to slugmagazine.com and then search my name, read whatever you can find, and then just read the magazine in general, because it's amazing. So
Slug Mag.
Slug Mag. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what kind of impact do you hope to have here?
I think I just hope to get people reading, get people informed. I know that this is a college town, a university town. I don't know what your readership is like or the age ranges of people who are reading here, but I hope that I'm reaching people who might not be reading otherwise or getting informed in this community.
I can safely say that they don't read.
Yeah.
They just don't. And I work at the student newspaper, and I can tell you, even the kids who work at the paper don't read.
Oh, is that right? I do hear sometimes that kids in college haven't read a book, and I don't even know how many years recently. So,
yeah. So do you have any questions about... I hope you've already asked those questions of people smarter than me, but as long as we're on the air here and you're on the spot,
I'd love to be on the spot.
Do you have any questions for us? We have Casey here too. He's our photographer and our producer of the podcast.
Yeah, I guess I'm just curious, what's your favorite part of living in Mankato and working for the Free Press?
My favorite part of living in Mankato, it's really a nice town. I'm not from here, so I came here to go to school 30 years ago and never left. So it's a great place to raise a family, great schools. I'm from the Twin Cities, and we're close enough to the Twin Cities.
Yeah, it is nice that it's about an hour and a half, yeah.
And I don't have any family left in the Twin Cities. My folks are gone. My sister lives way up north, and my other one lives in Las Vegas, so I don't have any real reason to go back there to see my family. But there's still lots to do in the Twin Cities, lots of concerts, sporting events, and you're close enough to get there pretty quickly, so I do like that about being in
that's
Mankato.
nice.
Working at the Free Press is nice. It's sad that we've had a lot of veterans, very talented people leave recently. Mm-hmm. Tim Crone just left, Chad Courier left, Ed Thoma left, Brian just left. I mean, each time one of those people leaves, they take with them institutional knowledge, and people, our readers, get to know these folks, and they trust them, especially someone like Tim, who's been here forever, maybe the most trusted name in the newsroom. Wow. But when they do leave, that creates a chance for someone like you to come in.
Yeah.
And to take their place and to present new perspectives on the way you cover the news and a new voice, and that's always a good thing too. So,
yeah, that's great. I don't know if I have any other questions at this point.
Well, that's fine. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I mean, I did and I didn't, but you did well, and that's all we have, I think, for this episode of FreepCast.
Awesome.
One thing we did not mention, and I don't have the script in front of me, is the sponsor. Our sponsor is Minnesota Valley Federal Credit Union, who are great, and they have a lot of offices, a lot of counties. I don't have all the counties in front of me, but all the ones around us have a Minnesota Valley Federal Credit Union in them, and we thank them for sponsoring the podcast. I don't have anything else to add or to say, so I will say thank you for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time.